89 to 92 FM. Thanks for joining me this evening. I'm Darren Mahan and I'll be here with you for the next 2 hours. I've lots of shout outs. I have to give a shout out to Michael, Colette, Will, Julie, David, Alan, Emma and Nicola, and they were all at a dinner party that I came from before this, which I had to leave, and so I just want to say a big shout out to them. I also have to say a shout out to Siobhan Kelly, who's listening this evening, and Don Devaney, so big shout out to all of them. We have a full studio. I have in studio with me this evening, I have Joe Fitzgerald and his brother George, and they are Joe is the artist who's singing the song Hey Mama It's Christmas, and I've also joined in studio with me Peter Farrell and John McCarn, who've written the song. Now Joe and George were formerly of the D11 Runners. You may or may not have heard of them, but I'm going to ask Joe to tell us about the D11 Runners. And just to let you know, this song is to bring awareness to motor neuron disease, because Joe has recently been diagnosed with motor neuron disease. Joe, welcome to the show. How are you?
Grand, thank you.
Thanks a million. So tell us a little bit about the D11 Runners.
Well, to go back to the beginning, we were all from Fingal South. It was myself, my brother, my younger brother, my wife, George. We weren't married at the time, we were only kids, and a few friends. And we all came from a boxing background, well, not the girls, the boys. And we've been boxing for about 7 or 8 years, and we stopped doing it, so we got a bit bored.
Yeah.
So one night I seen UB40 on television and came up with the idea of putting a band together.
Yeah.
And so every week we'd get our pay, or a few quid here, a few quid there, and we'd buy an instrument and send someone for lessons. And then over a year or so, we started into playing, we got together, and that was it.
And I believe, George, that the D11 Runners went to some great heights, actually.
Yeah, we went in to where we ended up then. We ended up with 3 hit singles over a period of time, and then we had a hit single. It was like a radio hit single over in Britain, and we played in front of 70,000 people in the Phoenix Park, and
Wow.
the Point Depot. It was all that.
Yeah.
It was all happening back then, and it was very exciting for us because we were young and where we came from as well.
Yeah, I believe that you were, when the Commitments film came out, you were sort of, the original Commitments band sort of compared to that.
Well, the story goes that one day me and Ken McCluskey, he was the guitar player, we were to meet this PR woman in a pub in Pearse Street.
Yeah.
And we gave her the whole story about the D11 Runners.
Yeah.
And years later, when I talked to Roddy Doyle about it, it turned out that woman was Roddy Doyle's wife.
Right.
So he always denied it, in fair play, that's his business. But the thing about it is that 1 and 1 sometimes does make 2.
Yeah.
So I imagine she went home and said, "You want to hear the story? I'm out to hear it." You know what I mean? And it could have been saved for the time, I don't know.
Yeah.
But at the time anyway, a lot of the press in Europe and in America were saying that we were the real Commitments. And in fact, it was probably the end. It was probably the end of the band.
And I believe some of the band members actually went for the film. They went to get a part in the actual film. Is that right?
Well, it was really Ken McCluskey at the time.
Yeah.
We all auditioned at the time. Alan Parker actually liked us as a band and as individuals. Afterwards, later on, Alan Parker sent us Christmas cards. I think I have one at home to the great D11 Runners from Alan Parker. But he specifically picked us, and we went for the auditions and that. But we weren't focused on that film at the time. We were sort of zoned in more on what we were doing. But in the end, anyway, to cut a long story short, Ken McCluskey, he was the guitarist. He did get a part in the film.
Right. You've eventually disbanded. Roughly what year was that?
We're going to finish up, I think, around 1993.
1993.
Yeah.
It's amazing because there must be still a bit of a following out there, because you have a YouTube video of Hey Mama It's Christmas. And it's incredible. Peter, who wrote the song with John McCarran, it's only up there a day or two. And what's the hits up at the moment, Peter?
Well, it's amazing because I looked at it today, and there's something like nearly 1,500 hits on it. And the interesting thing is that they're not just from Ireland. Obviously, the main focus is from Ireland, but it seems now people in America, Australia and Central Europe are actually looking at this now. And given that it's never been played on a radio yet, I think that's quite amazing.
So we have our premiere this evening on Spirit Radio, would you believe, ladies and gentlemen. But tell me a bit of background about yourself and the D11 Runners, Peter. You were involved in managing the band originally.
I was, and my background was, I'm a classical musician myself, but I did work, initially I worked with the Miami Show Band in the management.
Yeah.
But when I left that business, funny enough, I was in Bray one afternoon way back in about 1985, and this band was on the bandstand, and I couldn't believe it. They were like the Kit Kat ad. They couldn't sing, they couldn't play, but they looked great. You remember that ad?
Yeah, I do.
And I thought, this band is great. So I went over to them and I said, look, have you got a manager? And they said, no. And I said, I used to work in the business and I could put you in touch with somebody maybe. Because George and Joe were always telling great stories about all the recording contracts they had. But anyhow, I thought they were great and I remembered them, and nothing ever happened. But a couple of years later, they were playing in College Green.
Yeah.
And I went to see them one Sunday, and that's when I got involved with them. And actually, they were very, very close to making it really big. They were just unfortunate.
Yeah,
and
I believe that Louis Walsh booked them out.
Yeah, I went to Louis because I had known Louis from my time in, when I worked in the show band there. He worked with the Nevada, I worked with the Miami, and I went to Louis and I said, look, Louis, this is a great band. You still have the contacts. Will you book them out for me? And he said he would. And again, Louis actually really believed they probably could have made it. But you know, in this business, you get the right breaks, you make it. Something goes wrong, you don't. They were very close. Closest was, they were the Rock Garden. Do you remember the Rock Garden?
Yeah.
Well, the Rock Garden, they were doing a broadcast into the Tube, I think it was called at the time, Paulie Yates show.
Yeah.
And it was Christmas 1991, I think it was. And they got Cyndi Lauper instead. But we were on standby to go into that. I always believe had we done that show, they would have been mega. There would have been no Boys On. There would have only been the D11 Runners. But that's history.
But I am actually, speaking about Louis has actually given the thumbs up on the song this week. So I have to say, the first time I heard it, I really, really enjoyed it. It's a great Christmas tune. It, especially at this time of the year, and when people get to hear it, you'll hear the children in the song and the whole lot. Tell us a little bit about the song and how it came about.
Well, maybe Johnny might tell us a bit about it. How we wrote it.
Johnny wrote.
Well, no, we both wrote it actually. I think it was Pete's idea to write a Christmas song. And I have to say, when he came to me with this idea, I wasn't initially that enthusiastic about it, to be honest with you, but he's a very persuasive guy. And he kind of twisted my arm on that, So we just got down and started to work on it, and it came together fairly quickly. And like most things that you write, it's largely based on, your own kind of experiences, childhood experiences, later experiences and so on. So, I mean, I won't say too much about it, because talking about songwriting is pretty boring. I have to, in my own view, I've never heard anybody talk about songs much. That it's not, you just do it, talk. Yeah. I mean, most people just say, how did you do it? And people will say to you, well, it just came to me one morning,
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is unconscious. You're not aware of how you do it, you just do it.
Yeah.
But, and so that's basically how it came about, and we went into the studio about 4 or 5 years ago now and just put it down, and we had to shape it up a little bit. We used to argue about how it should go, but we eventually resolved all those arguments, and this is it.
And here we are.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to play it now, and then I'm going to come back, and we're actually going to talk to Joe and how his life changed, and he turned to God in his own life. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, at 22, just gone 35. This is Hey Mama, It's Christmas. I hope you enjoy it.
When the days are short and the nights are long, the wind blows hard against the door. A pale moon casts a shadow across the earth, and the coal fire it is burning. The children have been waiting for so long. Hey Mama, it's Christmas. must we go to bed? Can we not greet Father Christmas like you said? The coal fire it is burning, the children have been waiting for so long. Now the time is here and the children play. Father rests on Christmas Day, Mother sitting in her chair away. Like snowflakes gently falling, come thoughts of loved ones near and far away. Hey Mama, it's Christmas, must we go to bed? Can we not greet Father Christmas like you said? Distant bells are calling, you can hear the children's laughter as they say, hey Mama, it's Christmas. Time is here and the children play. Father rests on Christmas Day, Mother sitting in her chair away. Like snowflakes gently falling, come thoughts of loved ones near and far away. Hey Mama, it's Christmas, must we go to bed? Can we not greet Father Christmas like you said? As distant bells are calling, you can hear the children's laughter as they say, hey Mama, it's Christmas.